open meeting. This is the January 25, 2019 meeting of the Board of Selectmen. And our first order of business is to ask if anybody is taping the meeting. Lake Cam is. No one else is. First agenda item is to meet with Bernie Lynch from Community Paradigm to review the proposed town profile and town administrator search for the town administrator search and vote on the amended job description for the town administrator. So we have received the town profile, the current job description for the town administrator, along with the general bylaw and special act relative to the town administrator position. And Rita had provided some proposed changes to the document. And we also have an updated salary survey that gives us some information as to what other towns in the area are doing in terms of compensation for the town administrator. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you've provided to us, or do you want to take over the meeting at this point, or?
I don't like to take over anything, so.
All right.
Those days are gone.
Let's do it this way then. Do you have questions or comments relative to that piece of it, the proposed town profile?
Yeah, I do. I think, what I'd like to do as a board is talk about just what we have down here for, there's certainly some things in here with like the challenges and opportunities.
Sure.
Where I looked in there and I said, I don't want to bias anybody against some of the things in here, so I was a little concerned potentially just with some of that information of, it's the townhouse is in need of renovation and the fire station and all that. Just from capital planning, I'd rather keep it more generic, that we have a 5-year capital plan, that, it's because it's town meeting. I don't want to put in there, it's town meeting, obviously has responsibility or the authority to really determine what we do with this. So I just want to keep any inherent biases out of this profile, if possible, and that was just one that I saw in the capital needs. I don't know if you guys...
Yeah, I agree with that. I think in terms of what the capital needs are, that's really a determination that the Board of Selectmen makes in conjunction with the Finance Committee and the department heads. And I think to have specific examples of what may be an expectation, these don't necessarily mirror any expectation I think that this current board has ever had.
Okay.
In terms of what the capital needs are of the town. So
Okay.
I'm not even sure how they got there. So with that said,
somebody told us.
sure, right. But I guess my point is that
Right.
this is a board that would determine that, and therefore I'm happy with it being removed from
Yeah,
there.
and maybe let me just say this, that right, this is the value of having this meeting. We come into a community and we get the information from board members, from department heads and staff, and sometimes from others perhaps, and then we assemble it, and then at the end of the day, this is something that you have to feel comfortable going out. So that's why we're happy to be here today and have you say, you know what, we're not ready to put that on the paper, or we don't even see that as, so off it comes. So
John, are you good with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I have
I go like, wow, I'm looking for
Yeah.
$50,000 to redo the upstairs,
Well,
that's all I'm looking for, I'm not looking
yeah.
for $3 million.
Right, so I think that as long as like with the capital needs, that we just say, again, this is the process by which, I think that's fine. I know that's generic for the
Yeah.
most part, and everybody should know that,
Right.
clearly it's town meeting that determines the capital needs of the
Right.
It's recommendation, the board of selectmen, the
Right.
department heads, the finance committee, brought to town meeting. Doesn't have to have any specifics in here, and if we have, like the town, if you wanted to say that the town has financial policies to guide the direction of those boards and committees, I think that's fine too, because I think, fiscal management has been a priority of this board and what we've been trying to do, so I think to let people know that we do have some guiding principles and policies, but not to kind of put any specifics in there.
So, just so we're clear though, in capital needs, the notion that you strive to address infrastructure issues in town of Indiana with a 5-year capital plan. Town has, like every community, the town has infrastructure needs. We take out the townhouse down. Do we leave in the police station, which is under construction?
Yeah, what I would say is, if you wanted to kind of go there, I'd say, if you want to put Lakeville strives to address its infrastructure issues in a timely manner, to this end, the town has adopted financial policies that guide the direction of the boards along, with the finance committee, the board of selectmen, along with the department heads in order to maintain and address the infrastructure needs of the town, something generic like that. Through this process, the most recent capital project that's been, promoted through town meeting, through a debt exclusion, was the building of a police station that's under construction, expected to open in April of 2000.
And it's actually an $8.7 million police station.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's just, again, generic,
Yeah.
this piece is kind of, and then the economic development piece too, I think everything's fine. My only thing at the end is to just, again, kind of pull back, there's just some, like a little bit too much information just to say, Lakeville's interested in attracting thoughtful commercial development that'll fit with the town's character. We can address the fact that, we had a recent change related to marijuana, but we don't have to kind of stick in all the details around that too.
We can take out everything from,
I think it's more the challenge,
should we leave in the town meeting approve the town meeting action?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think if you just get rid of a marijuana cultivation site, blah, 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 and just take that out, and then say, Lakeville faces the same challenge as every other community whereby, every other similar community in which the residential tax burden is borne, in a proportion, is, something to address what we have about the fact that we have 86% residential. So, it's a constant struggle for the town to try to, create economic development within the framework by which the town operates. I want to keep it generic. I don't want to.
No, I
No,
agree.
because what happens is it ends up being the priority of the person you hire.
Exactly.
Their mantra would be, how am I gonna raise the money for a $3 million renovation to a fire station?
And
Yeah.
right, you don't
We're
even
not doing it in our
want
lifetime.
to, but you don't even want to taint the process where they come in
No.
preparing with a pitch on
On
how
this.
they would do that, or how they
Exactly.
would facilitate this project that may never exist.
Well, right, and that's why, very frankly, that's why we put it in though,
Yep.
so that in most of the communities that we do this work, that's what,
They
this
have
is where we
something
get
on
this,
the
and they'll
table they
say,
want.
they,
Yeah.
They want a plan of action.
Right.
Totally, I understand it, so.
Yeah, and I don't think we do.
No. Not specific to capital.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, obviously economic sustainability is a huge issue, schools, just the generic stuff that happens to every city and town in
Yeah.
Massachusetts. School funding is an issue, how to fund everything.
Yeah.
But I do want someone who's gonna come in and, because I think that we are in a good space financially, for the most part, and so I don't wanna
Sure.
attract someone for other reasons, and I
Well,
think
right,
that's why,
clearly, if these things aren't the case, it's important we know that.
yeah,
But if they are the case, they should be
Right.
there, because you'll want someone that comes in, because again, there are communities that have a plan, a desire to do X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
And you want someone that knows how to do X, Y, and Z.
yeah, exactly. Housing, I was fine,
It's not that those things aren't important, but I don't think that's the priority or the focus of the successful applicant that we're
Sure.
seeking.
yeah.
Good. Good.
I was fine with housing. If you wanted to put something in there that might be of interest, is the fact that we are a smart growth community. We have development, we have a 40R development, but that's just describing what the town is. It's not doing anything about what we want to do with the future again. It's fine with education, land use is great, the master plan. There's certainly, with the police department too, down there too, just again, the modern police station is under construction. It's
That's 8.7.
Yeah,
So just take the numbers out.
yep.
Take them out. Okay.
Change it.
Yeah,
Avoid the
just change it to
8.7 million
8.7,
police station.
yeah.
You can,
And then, I think, the fire department has 12 full-time positions, 30 part-time positions budgeted. We only have 9 filled, right? I thought we only had 9.
Well, no, I think if you include the,
well, you
Deputy
had
chief.
10, you had
So you have
10
that,
plus
and
the,
then the
plus the
admin.
chief and the deputy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the 12.
Right,
Okay.
right, that's how they get to the 12.
Did you want to say 30 part-time call five, or just
I'd
30
say-
call five?
I'd say 30 the call, firefighters.
Call time?
Yeah,
Call.
it's a mix.
So,
It's a mix of part-time
No,
and
no,
on-call?
it's a call department, so
Right.
12 full-time and the rest is call.
say.
And I think,
We may
one-
take out the number then of 30. If you don't have
I mean, we have 30
Okay.
is a full-time call contingent, if we
Okay,
have 30 in.
fine. Yep.
I think one of the things that I just didn't see in here too is just union contracts. Like, I don't know if that is something where we just say that, the town has 3 different bargaining units, within the town,
Yeah, I mean,
along with non-union, and maybe that goes under the ideal candidate of experience with union negotiations.
Go
Yeah,
under-
that's definitely.
Well, we
Is it
go
just-
under the,
Or I could put in each with fire, police, wherever they happen to.
No,
Yeah,
we'll-
'cause the other one's kind of like generic,
Generic,
it's
so we'll
the
just-
everybody else union.
Right.
It's not
they
the
should
official
know they're
name.
getting, yeah, they should know they're getting into a union
Waivers.
organized
Laborers
town,
and clerical.
yeah.
which
So
doesn't
you
hurt.
have 3 unions,
There's 4, actually.
or,
There's
No.
3.
3.
Which one
Town,
am I thinking
the
of?
town union is
Which town am I thinking of that has 4?
highway,
Sure,
library,
Lakeville.
clerical, supervisory. They each, they're all in one.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah.
So there's 3
Yeah,
collective,
there's 2
so there's 3
groups that are
collective
in
bargaining
That
units.
third
3,
one.
yeah.
Okay, but we just, I don't know if I put that in a challenge and opportunity, but we'll find a place to stick it in here.
I'm getting demands from.
Yeah, it's always-
I mean, every town gets a union, has a union.
One would
Go to
think.
dance.
We hired a non-union
Let's try
general
call.
contractor to do the police station, but he has to pay prevailing wages.
Right. Yeah, but
Figure that out.
I've yet to find a town out there that doesn't have at least 1 or 2 unions, so.
Yeah, so I think just putting that somewhere in here, just to say that, it's, because that's a component that I didn't really see, further in here about union negotiations, so.
Yeah, I think we, actually, at your ideal candidate, we can place something about collective bargaining.
Okay,
yeah, it talks about being specifically responsible for negotiating collective bargaining contracts,
Yeah,
unless the board designates someone else.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so that's kind of what I had for the first piece.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just trying to kind of keep it
Mhm.
more neutral, less,
Yep.
no inherent biases, because I think ideally we want to see what people have to bring to the table and.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
I agree, I think that's a good way to do it. Rita, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just had one comment on the first page, on the first section, is on the elected positions. We have an elected treasurer / collector. So around town clerk, you could add that in.
Oh, right. It's a joint treasurer
Yes,
collector.
yeah, one position.
There aren't many communities left that have separate, but we've run across it one lately.
351 opportunities for something different.
All right, do you want to keep going? Just keep
Yeah.
going through what you got there?
Yeah, so I think, when I read through the ideal candidate, and obviously, again, as you said, this is why we have this meeting, because you've gone through and you got a lot of different people's opinions, and then you're trying to put it together as to
Right.
what is this ideal candidate. So ultimately, as the appointing authority, I think, I don't know if we agree with all of what's in here, and that's what I want to have a conversation with the board about on this, because I know there's certain things in here that I look at that I would like more emphasized than some of the things that are in here. So my first piece, I would say, is in that first paragraph where he talks about the successful candidate should be able to demonstrate prior success in managing or as an assistant managing a complex municipal organization. I don't want to limit our pool to just municipality people, and I'd like to have that conversation with you guys as to what you believe, what would be okay for equivalent experience, if anything, or do you strongly believe that we need to have somebody in this position that is coming from a position somewhere else in a municipality? And I'd like to open that up.
I always felt hiring outside of the municipality is the best in my mind. But having said that, I mentioned that certainly when we got together, that the outreach is to non-municipal employees could be. And whether that's, it's a bad example to give me and say, if I took, there was a business manager at the, yeah, we're on camera, here we go. If we had a business manager at the school, very competent person,
Mhm.
CPA, good business mind,
Mhm.
good for the job, but not in municipal, but coming from a school system, I wouldn't mind that.
I consider that municipal.
Well, yeah, okay, I do, but if I had someone come from a CPA firm or something directly, I wouldn't mind that either. So I don't know how you put it down. I don't want to just exclude the other part of the pool. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, and that's fine, we can take that out,
Well,
you know,
yeah, I
I
don't know,
guess-
take it out.
No.
Yeah,
or-
what I
or figure
put,
out
what I put
to
in there.
replace it with.
Right, or
Yeah.
add to it.
So I
Okay.
would just say, so you have in here, the successful candidate should be able to demonstrate prior success in managing or as an assistant managing a complex municipal organization or equivalent experience in the private sector
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
mirror
Yeah.
the responsibilities that the town of Lakeville is searching for.
Yep.
Right.
Because again, as we had talked earlier too, and that's why I wanted to have that conversation with you guys, because I feel like we're completely limiting the pool to only municipal candidates, and I agree with John that I think it wouldn't be a bad thing to have somebody coming in with again, they have to have supervisory experience, they have to be able to manage and lead people, and they have to have a proven track record of that. And I would say, if you wanted to throw a number of years on that, we could do that too. But I don't want to limit it to just municipal candidates.
Right, I agree with that. I think that you really want to find the right candidate, and the experience is important, but specific municipal experience relative to being an assistant or town administrator, I think, is too limiting. The right person can learn aspects of the job if their experience is suited for it, and their temperament is ideal for it, I think.
I guess, yeah, I have a question on just, obviously you guys interviewed department heads and you went through that process.
Right.
Was that the general sentiment that you got from, I'll call it inside, versus the Board of Selectmen, as we're able now to discuss this, where we're saying we're open to both? Was that more the
Sure.
opposite when you were talking to the department heads? Did that come up?
Was it even a preference?
There was a sense that it's very helpful to have municipal managerial experience, someone that they can then bounce ideas off of, someone who knows the laws, the rules, the regulations, so that would be beneficial to the
And-
department
And
heads.
that has experience in other that has experience in how other municipal organizations are structured and operate,
Okay.
which frankly is,
Yeah, it's reasonable.
it gives,
Right.
frankly, it gives credibility to someone if they can say in town X, Y, or Z, it's structured in this way, or it operates in this way, there are these systems already in place.
Mhm.
Um,
No, I
Right.
mean, that's actually great insight from inside, I would say, in terms of what people are, it sounds redundant to say what they're looking for, but it gives, I think, a different insight in terms of the fact that people are looking for what I would call that leadership position. They're looking for someone to really kind of sit at the top of the pyramid.
Right.
Another aspect to this is that someone may have experience or knowledge of those systems without ever being a town administrator or assistant town administrator. I mean, for example, if they were on a Board of Selectmen or even a
Right.
finance committee, and if they really understood and took time to understand the workings of a municipality from that experience, not to say that it is an analog to the other, but there's other ways they can gain that insight.
Right, and that's very frankly, that's where we've seen some success in the past with people that transfer from a private sector position to a municipal administrator role, is that they have been they at least have a knowledge of municipal government from the perspective of either a finance committee or as a member of the board, Right, something like that.
Yep.
It isn't necessarily, although there are examples, it isn't necessarily successful for a state legislator who hasn't necessarily managed
Sure,
people and
totally
managed
different.
organizations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, totally different gig.
It can happen, there were some cases of that,
Mhm.
but it's been more of the other.
Yep.
That's- That I can think of.
Yeah, and I think that ideally, I'd like to see candidates of both types, obviously. It is, those who have been in it or who are in it,
Mhm.
as well as those who have that experience to know how to operate in it, but bring a different skill set to the table.
Right.
Because I think that's
Yeah,
where, through
that's
those
where I come
interviews,
from.
we'll be
Yeah.
able to see,
Right.
And I like the idea of casting a wide net too, as well.
Mhm.
Because if it's, the language limits the opportunity from a prospective candidate, that may be somebody who we would have liked to have talked with,
Mhm.
so.
and, yeah, so I think the second sentence, it's the third sentence, whichever sentence number that is too, where it says the candidate should be competent in all areas of municipal management and operations, but especially in finance and budgeting, personnel management, procurement, strategic planning, economic development. I think, again, to try to incorporate the fact that, should be competent or have extensive knowledge regarding. But I don't want to, again, if I'm looking at this, I'm not applying for this position in any way, shape, or form. So I will say, if I was looking at this and I decided I wanted to make a jump into municipal, town
Right.
administrator position, that might turn me off from believing that I was a qualified person.
Right.
In that
'Cause
position?
if you didn't have the
Because-
experience, how could you be competent?
Right, so I
Specific to
think,
municipal management.
to add in the language that, is again, is we kind of put in some of our job descriptions or equivalent experience. Again, I think as we go through that process and we do the interviews, that's what we're going to try to glean from those interviews. If that's somebody that could step into those shoes and would have to be the right person to be able to do that.
Okay, John, did you have anything to add to that?
No,
You're good with
I'm
that?
good with that.
I did just have one more question on that too, because with regard to procurement, I know I had a conversation with Rita a little bit about that too. So, the town administrator is the chief procurement officer within the town. So then, I talked to you a little bit about the certification and the timeline on that too. And I know when we talked, you said that sometimes the classes aren't,
Right.
happening all the time, so I don't want to limit the first 6 months. I mean, it talks about should be, procurement certified by the state,
Mhm.
to be able to attain it within 6 months, and maybe we just extend that to 12. Just because of the conversation I had with Rita about the timeline associated with that. Again, it's kind
Does
of,
anyone else have certification in town?
The executive assistant to the board and myself,
Okay.
she's done the first step, yes.
so but we don't have an issue because we don't have anybody actually certified within the town right now, right?
I'm not quite sure what Tracy's certification is. She did just get certified.
I
But I think there's more.
There's
That's
different
it,
levels,
yeah,
so-
we can
There's
address that.
different levels, right.
Some other time, so, okay.
She doesn't sign any of the contracts, though.
Right, you do if you're designated.
Anything else specific to this?
Yeah,
Or section?
the very last paragraph, certainly I want to talk about again as a board. This is related to what the educational requirements should be with regard to this position.
paragraph?
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
page, right
okay,
above
yeah.
compensation.
Yeah, right, but then, if we address that,
The job description, yeah.
well, and then there's a highlight experience, I guess that says experience and training over here on the job, that's highlighted over here, so I
Right.
wanna, we can talk about it here and there
Yeah,
when we get
exactly,
to it.
both
Yeah,
places,
okay.
because it'll just
Yeah,
dovetail
Go ahead.
between the two. So I think, it says here that a candidate should possess a bachelor's degree and or a master's degree in a field related to municipal management. I want to expand that again. there's only one real degree in municipal management that exists out there. So I think that, you know, but, you know, with regard to whether it's, you know, an MBA, an MPA, a business degree, you know, finance, accounting,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to
Yeah.
elaborate on that.
Law degree,
A law degree.
that's all of that should be considered, because again, if we're gonna try to cast a wide net, we wanna make sure that a potential applicant is not turned off by language that limits the specific degree sought. And in the case of all of those types of degrees, I think it demonstrates a level of professional commitment to a certain area that could potentially transfer well over to municipal governance.
We can change this, but
Yep.
I will tell you that this language has never discouraged anyone from,
Applying with
perhaps.
anything.
You know, those are all considered
Right.
part of, and
Right.
generally that's known, but it doesn't hurt certainly to lay it right out there.
Yeah, so municipal management or equivalent
right,
related field, I guess.
Yeah, and we can put examples
Yeah.
even if that's,
Yeah.
gives
Yeah,
a comfort
i.e.
level.
Right, right.
Law degree, you know,
Yeah.
something like that.
But we don't need to, we can mention some, certainly.
Right, just to give an idea, and then the mind can take them the rest of the
Right.
way.
Yeah, and just the next sentence too, because it just says preferred candidates should have experience as town, city manager, administrator, assistant town, city manager, administrator, or education experience that's equivalent. I think, again, I want to just make sure, you know, I'd like to see something of, you know, the candidate should have a progressive history of leadership positions within an organization. You know, something to that, that we can see this person has really risen through the ranks and has become a natural supervisor of others. So again, not limited to municipalities, but that's how we kind of
Mhm.
bring that piece in. Were you guys okay with, you know, my typical focus on what I wanted to see was somebody really, because I think if we talk about what I believe some of the bigger issues or the things I'd want to see tackled in the organization relate to the ability to lead cultural change, to influence. I think from a human resources type perspective, I feel like that's a need that we want to make sure we cover. I think that is the paragraph right above that's talking about that.
Right, you'd hate to hear from me, because I believe that most people are technically qualified to do the job, but it's the personality trait that fits into the vision as you see it. And certainly, it doesn't have to be, we look forward to positive changes. Whatever that may be, we don't want negative changes, we don't want a person who's going to be respected, but that's going to be in their personality makeup. That is, they've had that transition or progression of increased job responsibilities and supervisory responsibilities, because they are a good supervisor. So I think we can hopefully ferret that out as we're talking to the people and ask them those pointed questions. But I think that with the changes that you've suggested, which we agree with, is you're gonna get friggin' 150 resumes anyways. From people that are, from the people that are currently in jail, you know, to the people that just got fired from their last 5 jobs, so I agree with
Maybe
you.
you can add in, you know, no jail experience necessary.
Well, yeah, Crowbar City, but it won't limit,
We're
right,
looking to hire some, well,
right.
never mind.
Right. I think the changes that are suggested obviously are that we don't want just the municipal pool. We don't want to exclude people that are not in the municipal pool.
Why'd you want to limit the number of people that hadn't spent jail time?
No, they're all right. They're good salespeople.
Those tend to be the
They're there for a
private
reason. Wow, we can get people from Donald Trump's administration if someone's looking to come in and help run Lakeville. So,
Community service?
community service, right? Yeah, that would be good. But I think you made a great effort of trying to expand the pool. And I think that's what we all wanted to do,
Yeah,
is to
absolutely.
expand the pool.
And I think this language is good.
The person that we want, it's up to us to ask those questions about, how do you feel about changes? How do you feel about human resources? How do you feel about conflict? How do you feel about whatever? And we need to ferret out who's a good fit for the town.
Right.
Yep.
Because as we all know, selectmen always change.
Yep. So I think the last piece is just compensation and benefits.
Yeah, I just had a quick question, Rita. Rita, I had given you a list of different towns.
The only two that weren't on it were Rochester and Seekonk.
Did you?
And we did get one,
did-
but not the other. And I added
You
two.
added Rochester. Which ones were on my list that I had given you?
I didn't bring it with you, but Acushnet.
Because I wanted, I had done a list, the accounting department had done a list of towns that truly were similar in size and makeup of the town, in kind of a mixture of population and fits. And it was only a listing of 10 towns. I didn't bring it, but do you recall the towns? Carver was one, I
Yeah.
think. Carver was one of the Bridgewaters? I don't know.
No, I don't think so, but
Freetown. Freetown was the sister city, Halifax was,
Hanson.
Hanson was,
Kingston.
Kingston, and...
I think Norwell was on it.
I'll
Rehoboth.
I'll tick off Norwell.
But they were in with populations of 10 to 11,000 people.
So John, what
Well,
do you think?
Well, no, I wanted, what I wanted to do is to make sure we covered the ones that we've measured. When we do union contracts, we've looked at towns that are of similar size and that type of thing.
Yep.
I don't mind all these others.
Sure.
But, yeah, I'm sorry, what was your question?
I was just wondering what your process is. So you want to kind of take a look at specific towns that we've done in the past for union negotiations to determine what a ballpark is for this?
Right. So if I took those, if I took, I guess Freetown, Halifax, 110, 94, 119 for Hanson. Kingston, we don't have, I guess, Rita?
No.
And Norwell, I don't know if Norwell was there. 150 and Rehoboth was 75 and Rochester was 128. So I don't want to take that as an average, but I don't want to, if I looked at the other towns, they're markedly different.
If I
Whether
can-
it be East Bridgewater, Easton, Cohasset, that type of thing, they're remarkably different communities.
Yeah,
Different communities in taxes, remarkably different.
Rochester, though, that town administrator is also the town accountant,
Right.
Yeah.
so she's got two positions.
Right. So I didn't want to not highlight the towns that are more like us from a financial status, if I call it that. And we'd done it in research that those are the most like us. I don't mind if you threw in, Abington and Avon, but they were not as part of that. Avon is a lot of industrial parks. Luckily enough so, Cohasset is a well-heeled
Actually,
town.
Avon isn't as,
No, they all go Randolph, there's, everyone opts out of the school system.
yeah,
If they
we
even
did
have
Avon,
one.
and they're
Right.
primarily residential.
Right, right. But they do have an Avon industrial.
So in terms of,
Yeah.
I mean, we need to make a decision today about
Yeah.
this. Are you comfortable doing that?
No, I'm comfortable with the salary that's outlined there.
Well, what I want to
But
ask,
Mitzi was gonna,
yeah, just what I want to
Right.
ask is, typically, are you seeing deferred compensation out there anymore? That is, and that's negotiated in the contract.
Correct.
So, and the same thing with the car allowance, negotiated in the contract. There's certainly some towns here where it's all just lumped into one base salary, seems to be the case, as opposed to that. So I think what we need to just consider as well is where we are equivalent right now, equivalently with Lakeville, with Rita's compensation, is, you know, if I pull out her $5,000 health insurance here, and essentially the equivalent is about 124 right now. Add in the fact that we're a 50-50 health insurance community, and put that in, I know, you know, that's gonna be a little bit different, so if we're at 24,000 on a family plan, that the maximum benefit then would be another 12, in theory, that would be added onto that. So if I look at that, we're pretty close to about 140 in terms of compensation and benefits, and that's with no adjustment or change. That's where we are, you know, essentially right now. So, you know, when we say 135 plus or minus, attractive benefits package, you know, do you assume that to be inclusive in that benefits package? Or do we say, you know, the total compensation, including benefits, is, you know, 135 to 150, somewhere in that range? I think that's where we fall.
Well, everyone is going to, 135 plus or minus, I don't mind.
Okay,
I just was pointing out to you the towns that are similar to us.
okay.
If I took Freetown at
Yeah.
110, you know, Halifax at 94, Hanson at 119,
Yeah, it's funny.
you know,
Yeah.
everyone has similarities and dissimilarities.
Yep.
I don't mind the 135 plus or minus. I
Okay.
don't think we need
So-
to be any more specific
Okay.
because
I'm good with that. We'll
people,
negotiate it in the
people
contract.
are gonna
All over the place.
apply that make $20,000 more than that, and you either make the decision that you go up to that level, or they're gonna take a lesser amount anyways.
Well, my thought with it, and I don't know if this is what you guys just agreed on, does that mean that the 135 is inclusive of those other aspects?
So yeah, I don't really read it as that. I read it as it's 135 is the salary, and then on
Right.
top of that would be the negotiated
Negotiated.
benefits.
I think the advantage of having everything in the salary is that that's the number that people will think is the total compensation, right? So I mean, I think it's more of an issue of transparency, in the sense that if you said to somebody, well, the town administrator here gets, you know, in Wareham makes $152,000, because that's what the salary is, but the total compensation is really 171. It's kind of the idea that why are they hiding that? You understand that concept, or am I just wasting my time?
No, I guess I'm not, I'm trying to understand who you're being transparent with.
Well,
The taxpayer, person that pays the bill.
No,
Yeah.
that's fine, that's what I'm.
It's always the word transparency, as cliched as it is only ever used in that context. You know what I mean? It's not.
like,
I don't know, but.
so I guess my question would just be, what do you
So
think
for-
is going
for-
to get us the best pool of
I'm not
candidates?
against
So
the
if I-
idea of
in other words,
having.
let me put
I'm
this
not
way. If you
against the idea of having flexibility in that, like they're describing, but
Right.
I think that the con of that, or the potential downside of that, is that when people say, oh, well, the new town administrator makes 135 grand, and then somebody grabs a contract and does the math and says,
Right,
they really make 160,
yeah,
that's a potential political problem.
yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, and I guess the question is really, what's the top number that we're comfortable with that includes benefits? Because you could
Right.
just change this and say if it's, you know, an annual salary and benefits, you know, up, you know,
What
Right, I mean, I guess that's the question, because you,
Well, I guess the question is what when we go out there and market for the position. I understand what you're saying about the transparency to the taxpayer. And, you know, the same goes, though, I suppose, for every other position that you have, right? So your police officers or your highway employees, when you give their salaries, do you add in their health insurance and their other benefits that they receive, their uniform allowance or all of that? You probably don't.
Right.
So, you should be, whatever it's gonna be, has to be, there should probably be some level of consistency.
No, I don't necessarily think so.
Okay, but when you're marketing this position, when someone sees $160,000, let's say, and say, okay, that's our fully loaded package. I guess you'd still say plus or minus, because maybe you pay less on salary, but then you have the health insurance that adds into that. You know, that's, I guess I'm saying that's fine if you want to do that, but nobody does. And so you'll be the only community that does that. Hats off for that purpose, but to the people who are looking at this job and they see that, that's going to set off expectations that aren't entirely clear.
Yeah, so-
And that's our job to make sure
Meaning
they
what?
know that. When they see 160, let's say, and you're including health insurance in that,
gonna think they're
first
gonna
off,
get
if they're a
160.
single plan, they're gonna get one number. If they're a family, they're getting another. Or if they're getting their health insurance somewhere else, if you're willing to say $160,000, that's your fully loaded cost, and you don't have to provide them health insurance, they're still getting that $160,000.
So here's
No, I
the big
understand.
thing. I
Sure.
think, you know, the way it's written is you're gonna get paid bi-weekly or however you actually get
Bi-weekly.
paid. Since I get once a month, I don't know. You know, but you get paid bi-weekly. This is your 135 divided by 24. That's it. You know, so, or bi-weekly, 26. It's not bi-monthly. I get paid
I guess
bi-monthly.
what benefits are you talking about that are significant, I guess?
So here's the thing, health insurance. So what do you do about car? I mean, look at Rita's benefits. Deferred comp, that's a big piece in there. So she's negotiated such that she had deferred comp that was higher than what her salary. You know, that if you look at the other things, so if you're saying that you're okay with the annual salary being potentially 135, but then Rita comes in to negotiate and says, you know what, I really want deferred comp. And so now instead she gets paid 130 and she gets 5 in deferred comp, then
But deferred comp started at 5, and it
And
had
it
to
moved its way
progress.
up.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Its way up
look
to
at, I
8.
look at it as a 135 salary.
yeah,
Health
that you
ben-
get paid,
Health benefits, I mean.
On top of it.
They pay half, we
Yeah.
pay half.
yeah, on
It's
top of it.
that.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, on top of
I
that.
agree
But
with
does
that.
that include a car allowance and deferred comp or anything else that
No,
they
if
may
you,
want?
no, if you wanna give a
Well,
car allowance, I don't object.
Doesn't-
It's-
I'm
doesn't have to.
completely
It's
not a lot-
fine
it's
with
not
the
a lot of
language as
money.
it's written.
I'm looking for anything, I can't even think of anything significant in the thousands of dollars.
No, just be a car allowance. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it. I mean, I'm totally fine with the way this is written. It says,
Right.
I'm getting paid 135 divided by 26
Yeah.
every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and that's what
Yeah.
I'm getting. And then on top of it, I have health insurance, I have life insurance, I have a
Right.
car allowance, which would be negotiated because that
Right.
is already in there.
Right.
And if there is a deferred comp piece, that would be negotiated on top of that too. And
Right.
so
Right, and it could be, and it
I'm
could,
good with that.
yeah, what you might end up with is someone, particularly given the market, you may end up with someone, well, depending on what happens with the market, I mean, you could end up with someone who you say, look, we're gonna pay 125, 130,
if in the
because they don't
experience and
necessarily
all
have
that.
the experience.
I agree.
You know,
completely.
but maybe we steal
Yeah.
someone from another community, or someone that's really good, and we're competing against another community, we say, look, we're gonna pay
Yep.
140.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm
Sure.
totally fine with the way the.
No,
Right,
I
right,
agree with it too, but I
I'm-
just, I think I wanted to talk that all through because we had not had that conversation, you know,
Yeah.
before, so.
Right, yeah,
Right, I inferred it to,
you have to have that.
right, I inferred it to be the 135 plus or minus, so someone might get 125, someone might
Yep.
get $5,000 more.
Yeah,
Okay,
But it's in the right ballpark.
all right,
Right.
correct.
sounds good. So, that's it for this document. Is there any more questions or comments relative to this that we need to talk about?
We could make these changes and, I mean, I think the biggest changes that we're making are that we're stripping away some of the potential projects that were mentioned for capital.
Yeah,
We just want to focus on the fact that you have a capital plan and that you have a
Fiscal policies.
fiscal policies,
Yeah.
financial policies that are there that govern
Mhm.
how that's managed. And then we want to make sure that we leave the language flexible enough so that someone that's doesn't necessarily come out of the municipal sector has the things that they would be willing to apply for this.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I think those are the only changes that we're talking about here.
Right, and you have the job description?
Do,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Do
okay.
you anticipate any issues with anything that we've done at this meeting right now related to your ability to market this position?
nothing at this point, no, no. Nope.
Did you get that feeling?
No, but I just want to confirm.
Yeah, no, if you made it more restrictive,
Yep,
you know, that might shrink.
okay.
You've expanded the pool, you know.
Mhm.
We might find someone like that out there, but outside of that.
Yep.
But,
Okay, great.
you know, it tends to be people that want to be in this business or already in this business, so,
Right, okay.
okay. So that we're all set on, and salary, I think the way you know, in looking at the market ourselves, we're doing another nearby town, 2 nearby towns, actually 2 of them are on your list here right now, and you know, you're sort of right in between those 2 communities, and so your salary is right in between.
All right.
Great.
Okay? So
Thank
that's
you.
it. We can advertise this, probably we'll put the ad together and we'll get that out tonight.
So we'll approve it pending what final approval, a final look-through, pending
You want
these
it?
changes?
Do you wanna, okay, so we won't advertise
No.
tonight.
Do you want to designate one selectman to,
Review said changes?
You know who we designate, Mitzi.
well, that's what I'm thinking.
Of course,
You know.
just email
Yeah,
or whatever
Okay.
to Mitzi.
we'll send it to you, Mitzi, and
Perfect.
you just let us
Yep.
know, and
All right,
Yeah, I'm good with that too, that
So-
makes sense.
I guess
Yeah.
I'll make that motion then. That we'll vote on the proposed town profile and town administrator search for the town administrator search and the amended job description for the town administrator pending my approval.
Did we want to talk about this at all? Did anybody have any questions or comments about the town administrator job description?
The only, if I may, Aaron, the only thing I think you need to change, I made just 2 simple changes to
Right.
keep it consistent, is the education. Because you're going to have the job description posted. And I wasn't quite sure now
Right, the
what
language should
language
mirror
I
you
think it
wanted.
should just
Okay.
mirror whatever the final
Yeah.
piece is. So I can approve that, but
Right,
my goal will be
whatever
to be
that
exactly what
says
we
is
just
what
said
this
is
says.
what this
That's why I
text
was-
is. Yep,
Yep.
Trying to get over
Write
here
it
to
as a
here.
Word document, you know?
I think I sent, the special act I didn't have in
Right.
Word, but
Yeah, so what we can do is when we do that language,
I think I
we'll
sent
send
it to
it
you.
back.
If
to-
I didn't, I'll send you the Word,
Okay, we'll send it back and then,
yeah.
or we simply cut and paste.
Right, we just want to make sure that both.
Yeah,
are the same.
consistent language.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah. And this is not on your website, right?
No, the job description, no.
Okay.
None of them.
So what we can do is we can just, any applicants that we receive, or any inquiries we receive, we can send, the profile they'll pull off of our website, but anything, other materials we supply to them directly.
But I
do
can
you
put
want
it on the website, you know, job openings, like
Well,
we
wait a
do
second,
the-
we have a motion,
Oh.
is that what this is regarding?
Yeah, so and just, do you want it also sent to Clarinda?
that could be it, yeah.
Like when it gets emailed to me? So it'll be pending my approval
Yes,
in conjunction with Clarinda?
Yes.
Just to make sure that everything's,
yes.
So that she's reviewing it too?
yeah.
Okay.
Because I'd rather have 2, people
Right.
kind of looking at it
Two
and making
sets of
sure that we
eyes.
can,
Right.
yeah.
I will second that motion. Do we have any further discussion? Rita, did you want to?
No,
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the motion carries.
Just wanted to make sure you didn't feel left out.
well, I guess, Aaron, yeah, do we want it on the website once it's all finalized? You know, so people can go to
I
the
don't-
website, or we just
I
gonna
don't-
go through?
We don't.
I don't think,
Okay,
no. They're making the big bucks.
no, it's just when Bernie said, website, you know, is it on our website?
Yeah, I was just thinking we could
Yeah.
do a link, but we'll take it.
Okay.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you for all your work with this.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you very
Hopefully
much.
not too-
And we'll be
I'll get back to you.
talking to you over the weekend,
Perfect.
so we can do this live.
All right.
All right? Sure, you get your email at home?
Yes.
Perfect. Probably around
Just what
11
you
tomorrow
wanted.
night.
I just work all weekend.
Yeah.
She usually works till midnight,
Oh,
so.
good. So,
She's got an extra
we'll get it to you
hour.
before midnight.
Thank
All right? No, that's great. So we'll get it moving and hopefully get you some candidates. I think our timeline is to have them to you by the beginning of March, thereabouts, and then that gives us a month to hit our target.
Perfect.
Great.
Great.
Thank you
All right,
very
awesome.
much.
Good.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I was just leaving it, I was gonna shake his hand.
I'm like,
All right, agenda item number 2 is to meet with our Fire Chief, Michael Bryan, to discuss amending the job description for the Deputy Fire Chief. Come on down, Mike.
thank you. Okay if I sit?
Yes, of course. So we received the following from Mike. We had a memorandum explaining what was going on, a proposed job description, the current job description for the position, and then a proposed job description for the firefighter paramedic, and then the current job description for the firefighter paramedic. Okay, so, did anybody have questions about the proposed job description for the deputy fire chief? You good with it,
I'm good.
John?
I'm all set.
All right, so I am good with it as well.
Do we have that single statement that I always love, yes, essential functions, okay.
Yeah.
It is.
So with that said, I'll entertain a motion to approve the document as drafted.
I'll second that.
Oh, all right. All right, so I'll make that motion.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye? All right, so that's all set. And then we're dealing with the firefighter paramedic job description. Did anybody have questions of the chief while he's here relative to that?
I want to make sure, because it's a union, I want to make sure that we have Bert Mason involved, is that correct?
It is correct. Bert Mason has been made aware of all the, actually most of the changes, he's given input. The
And-
union has also approved the description, their legal seen it as well.
And if I may, Aaron, I talked to Mike about this on other union positions for the town union. Once a job description has been contemplated to change, we send it to the union rep, give them 2 weeks to get back. So I'm thinking, does the board want to send it to the president of the fire union, give them 2 weeks to get back? Because it is just a matter of updating it. It was on an
I
old
think,
form.
I think I want advice from Bert, whether,
On the firefighter description? Okay.
yeah, that we can implement what we have, or should we send it to them? I'd want Bert to tell us that
Well,
answer.
Giving notice. that
yeah,
it's
because
been-
we impact bargaining, we give notice to the union that this is a contemplated job description change, and then the union
Right.
typically gets back to us and says they're
Yeah.
okay with it. Did that already happen?
That's already
Is that-
happened.
So that's already
The union's
happened.
okay with the description. they've
We
already
don't have
signed it.
anything in writing.
No, that's true. Not, yeah.
Right, because it always changes. Oh, I didn't
I'm just gonna take this.
I didn't know it was for real, so I thought I'd have a second or third chance at it.
So, yeah, so maybe we just want to get that in writing. I mean, even if that's happened,
Everything okay?
it may be a good thing to have.
All right, so, in writing from the union and Bert Mason, or just one?
I like Bert Mason that says he's okay with it.
Okay.
And which should be easy. I mean, if he's been involved, it should be easy on his part.
The email may have.
Because everything
caps
always
and
gets,
underlines.
I always get surprised. So the proposed, you talked about, you didn't highlight the changes in the deputy because it was such a massive change, if you will. It was 10 years old. Is the same true
It is,
for the firefighter paramedic?
it is true. The spirit's the same, the intent's the same. There was a lot of things that were redundant on the old description that were removed, so it was encapsulated by general language instead of very specific items. And then the other change that we did was we try to follow the town's template more. I didn't just do it myself. I collaborated with Corinda and with Rita, trying to follow, be more consistent in how we did things, how we posted things.
Yeah, the reason why I'm on this versus the deputy is the deputy's non-union. This is union.
Yeah.
And our experience is the essential function of the duties are listed below, and, you know, we get together with them and say, you know, not as an example, you're stocking the advanced life support vehicle. You're checking the oils and fluids, and you're doing something else. And because those weren't negotiated, all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that we have something, whether we give those examples to Bert, he might remember. I want to make sure we're not getting into a horror show, that Bert signs off on it and our local guys are fine with this. And I don't care about sending it to someone else unless Bert says we have to.
Did I miss that? Did that already happen?
No,
No, that did not happen.
Okay. So
did
we're
not
saying to-
happen.
okay.
So I want to make sure
To
that
Bert?
Bert signs off on it, and that the union president, I guess,
Yeah.
would sign off on it.
And John, typically what Bert has us do is once he's okay with the process, is he has me send the memo to either Tim Mahoney, in this case it could be from the
Well-
selectmen, that they would contemplate it.
Well,
and,
you-
but it's with
Description
Bert's
change.
that blessing.
I want the direction from him, because he's going to wear the hat of anything that goes wrong. Not only Michael, but Bert.
So from a timeline perspective, this has to go back to Bert. You're saying 2 weeks still?
Well,
And then that's when it could be
He
posted?
might say a week. Oh, because you want to post it, yeah.
It's, I mean, it's not really time sensitive that,
Because they already know about
A
it.
week.
Well, I
It could be a
mean-
week.
Right.
It could be a week, just
Right,
say,
then they
you
just
can
write back
post
a
it-
letter?
You can,
yeah.
right.
Okay. So
Right.
it just didn't go through legal counsel, is that what it was? You did.
he got a packet, he only commented back about the proposed changes to the captain's position that's in the budget. He didn't comment specifically about this,
Okay,
but he was provided that.
okay.
Yeah, I want him to comment specifically on any
Well, just that they have no
union,
comment.
any union
Yeah,
jobs.
something in writing.
Right. Captain's still union, paramedics are still union, so I want his blessing specifically.
I get feedback in all caps and lots of
Yeah.
highlighting about the captain's name, but nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I've been burnt on this before, that's why I'm
No, I understand.
saying
I
that.
understand.
All right, so we'll hold off on this then until that happens?
Well,
Yeah,
don't we
Specific to the
approve it
firefighters?
pending,
We can do a contingent upon receipt
that
of
way we don't have to do this
approval.
again?
Yeah.
But if there's a change, then we'll have to know what that change is, right? It doesn't matter, it doesn't really matter. So let's do this, I'll make a motion that we approve the proposed job description for the firefighter paramedic position pending approval, or pending written notification of notice from the union relative to the position.
Ian Burt Mason.
I'll second it for discussion, only because don't we have to, isn't the first step that we have to approve the contemplation of a change?
Well, I think they did that already. They already notified the union of a
That there was
contemplated
a
change.
contemplated change? So this
Right.
is just, okay, so this is step 2. It's already
Yes.
done, and, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm okay with that.
Now, the formality is just that they all sign something that they all agree with.
Mhm. Okay,
Because I see that change, that always changes.
okay.
Oh, I didn't read that paragraph.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
I
Oh, John, you seconded it?
did.
Mitzi did.
Oh, Mitzi did, okay.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
And you have an opening for a paramedic. One opening.
I will,
Yes,
pending.
you will.
I have 2 paramedics starting shortly, fill 2 other openings as well.
Yep.
That were hired internal from the call department.
Oh, yes, okay.
All right, do we have any new business? Do we have any old business? Any other business?
You know what? Well, maybe we can talk about it on, I didn't see if it was on the agenda for Tuesday, probably not. The regional FinCom
It is
update?
on.
It is.
That is on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, I just haven't seen that, so
Yep.
I'm good.
It is on there. All right, so we're going to enter into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, specifically the fire union and the police union, If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the board, and the chair so declares, which I do, and pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, to comply with the open meeting law, MGL Chapter 30A, Section 22F, approval of executive session minutes for November 19 and December 20, 2018, and not to return into open session. That's my motion.
I'll second.
Hollenbeck,
Aye.
Burke,
Aye.
Powderly.
Aye.